you'll be surprised to know that you don't need to learn data science to become an artificial intelligence engineer or an AI engineer in 2025. And in this video, we are going to cover several of these topics and also try to answer what is it that the companies and the recruiters are looking for when they're planning to hire an AI engineer, and how can you benefit from this knowledge, and how can you prepare yourself with the skill set to become an AI engineer in 2025. So let's start with the basics and let's go after the changing AI landscape today. So we have the model building at the bottom over here. This is where the core of data science and artificial intelligence research and all these things are happening. And we have the pre-trained models. So think of these as the LLMs that you get access to, and you're able to build on top of these LLMs. And finally, we have the product deployment. This is where you use the pre-trained models that you get from step 2 over here and then directly build products on top of this. So why does this matter and where are we going with this? So majority of AI jobs focus on product deployment, right? So if you think about many of the applications, the SaaS applications and other things that are coming up, and you'll see that most of them are sort of in a vertical that needs some level of disruption that the new business is going after. What that means is there is an existing product already out there and people are looking to leverage pre-trained models like LLMs and build a better product to get that competitive edge. And this is where most of the AI roles are currently today and in the near future as well. So companies are prioritizing integrating pre-trained models into real-world application. So companies, they don't want to invest all that money and brain power into developing their own LLMs. They just want to use something like a GPT or a Llama and then just build applications on top of it, because that is where the core of the business value they're able to deliver to their customers, right? So if you think about it, there are not many basic models, right? So you'll probably have OpenAI's and then Meta's Llama and then maybe Google's Gemini and a few others like Claude and Mistral and others. But not many people are trying to build this model because this is a time expensive and a resource expensive job, and this requires a lot of manpower as well. But once we have a model, we can easily get the pre-trained model to do all our applications, and that is where the landscape is going. And this is going to be the key to understanding what skills you would want to learn next, right? So there is a shift from building models to deploying AI at scale, because all the heavy work has been already done or is being done by some of the bigger corporations out there. And our jobs as AI engineers is going to be how to use all these new things, new technological stuff that are coming up, and position ourselves as an AI engineer so that other companies who want to leverage these tools can come to us and they can hire us. So that is where the AI landscape is moving. So next we'll see how we can leverage some of these pre-built models. So we've already seen like GPT-4 and then Stable Diffusion for image. There's also DALL-E for images, and I haven't mentioned all of this, but there are a ton of other models and new models keep coming up every day as well. So we don't need to concern ourselves with all these models, but what we have to think about are all these pre-built models and where they can be used and how they can be used, right? So open source models, they are all available out there, Llamas and other ones, and then the commercial ones like GPTs and Claude and Tropics, they're also available. And 90% of AI jobs involves integrating, fine-tuning and deploying these models, right? So if you think about an application for a lawyer firm or an accounting firm, they probably want something that is specialized in the kind of work that they do. And this is where, if they hire an AI engineer, it would be your responsibility to integrate, fine-tune and deploy these models so that they are able to use them in their real-world jobs. So focus on turning existing tools into real-world applications. So that's going to be the key focus. So let's keep moving really quickly. So what does this mean? So we know that there's all these models and we have to be the integrator, if you will. We have to be the person who kind of is the middleman between the model on one side and between the business application on the other side. So how do we get from one point to the other? This is where you would need to master some of the software engineering skills, or if you're looking to upskill, try to learn some of these software skills because they're not that hard. And if you want to speed up, you probably might want to look at using some of these LLMs to help you out with creating a course or creating your syllabus, and then use plenty of tools out there to learn yourself. So software engineer skills is going to be the key, right? So I can't emphasize how important software engineering skills are going to be next, because the importance of production deployment, scaling and infrastructure management is going to be high up there. because now we have LLMs to do most of the heavy lifting. So our job as an integrator or as a middleman is going to be to put all these things together, right? So the advantage of software engineering background in AI is completely underrated at the moment because everyone is on the AI bandwagon. But I can't stress enough how important software engineering skills are, especially when you want to take something to production, right? So bringing products to market faster than traditional AI researchers. And this is where you're going to stand out from those AI researchers, right? So if you want to become an AI researcher, I'm not saying you don't need data science there. You do need a lot of maths and research abilities if you want to particularly become an AI researcher who is responsible for building these LLM models, right? But if you want to just become an AI engineer who is going to help companies integrate these LLMs and other features into their application, then you need software engineering skills, which AI researchers are going to be lacking in. And we are going to see where you can differentiate yourself from the AI researchers as well. So this is going to be the highest demand skill, right? Deployment, right? So companies need engineers who understand cloud platforms, right? There are AWS, GCPs, Azures, and many more cloud platforms, and you can use it however you want to deploy your models and make your application next generation, right? So focus on getting the AI to work at scale in real world environments, and practical skills are often more valuable than deep theoretical knowledge. So you'll probably understand where I'm going with this, but hang on for a few more seconds. So you will see where we diverge from just getting deep theoretical knowledge to actually doing some of these things as well. So we are focusing on the deployment skills, and this is where you can essentially differentiate yourself from the AI researchers, and suddenly you become a lot more appealing to recruiters and companies because you're not just doing theoretical work, you're also skilled at practical work, and you would be the person with the right skill set. So this is where you need to shine as well, because when I say integrate LLM into the product, it might be complex than what you might imagine, right? So we have these pre-built models and you do your innovative work with your SaaS business. So this seems very straightforward, but you have to understand there is a lot of domain expertise that go into actually building these models as well. So we have the software engineering skills on one side, which is really good, but you also need to be aware of the domain that you're working in. So if you're working in the finance domain, then you would need all that finance domain knowledge to build your LLM so that it's more suited towards the application you're going after. If you're working in marketing or if you're working in accounting, you really need some sophisticated domain knowledge as well. So that is where you want to focus on creating unique AI products. So use pre-built models to skip the research phase. You don't really need all that research now. You can use some of the popular libraries out there, popular models like ChatGPT, Midjourney, depending on your application, and the opportunity to apply existing models in creative ways for specific industry is vast. There are so many vertical SaaS LLMs that are coming up, and most of the AI engineers are going to be recruited in one of these spaces. So we've spoken about how important it is to build on top of the LLM models that we're after, how strongly you want to understand the domain that you want to go into, and what skill you might want to need, like software skills and deployment skills. But let's actually see, if you're really starting out from the beginning, what are the skills that you would need to learn to become an AI engineer or to have a successful AI portfolio to even get to that interview and discuss really confidently in those interviews. So start by building your AI portfolio. So start by building some applications that you can show in your portfolio, like chatbot generator, image generator, recommendation engine, so on. And this becomes your portfolio. And there are a few key things that you want to keep in mind when you're building this portfolio as well. So create real world projects using existing models, like example, chatbot, image generator, other things. But more importantly, you are showcasing your ability to solve practical problems with AI. So if someone has already built some of these projects that you get access to build your own project, then don't just stop after following that tutorial or following that video or following that blog article. Go deeper into what else you can add into that model and showcase your own ability to integrate that into real world problems, right? So host it on a serverless platform, host it on AWS, GCP, find out how to do all these things. And then when you do share your portfolio, you just give a link to people people so that they're able to go in and play around with what you've actually built. And this is so much more tangible when people are looking to hire people, because you're not just someone who says you've done something on a CV, you can actually show them what you've built. So when it comes to deploying AI products as well, it's quite straightforward. So first of all, if you have an application, if you have a domain, and if you build something, it's straightforward if you just follow a few videos online. So you can use frameworks like serverless framework for easy deployment. You can use AWS Lambdas, Cloud Functions, Vercel. Again, if you don't know what all these means, you will very shortly once you start deploying all these things, so don't worry about them. So keep in mind that there are some of the frameworks that you can use and tools that you can use. If you aren't familiar, go and watch some videos on there, and then you'll be up and running with them. Demonstrate end-to-end, right, product development skill. This is the key over here, end-to-end. So all that we've done in this video is try to put into your brain that end-to-end is what is going to matter in the near future when people are looking for AI engineers, and stand out by showing practical application and deployment expertise as well. So you might want to look at DevOps, like developer operation, MLOps, if you want to build some machine learning into your LLM as well. And there are also LLM ops where you are not just doing LLM development, but you also have a structure and a framework that you use as well. So this kind of allows you to stand out from other people who are just using some documentation from, let's say, ChatGPT, and they're able to build a program. But if you have a good framework so that you're able to make your application a bit more scalable, then that's going to help you a lot. And these are the things that you learn from software development, like how can you implement test-driven development to your agent or an LLM application that you're building? How can you put guardrails around them? So these are all the things that are actually borrowed principles from software engineering. So you need to be familiar with all these things to really stand out. So imagine you have your AI product, you use a serverless platform, and then you deploy your product. At the end, you have an API, or you have an application that you can show with the front end, whatever it is, and then people can go in and interact with it. And that makes it really powerful, not only for full-time employers, but also if you're going down the route of becoming a freelancer. So how do you go about future-proofing your career, right? Imagine you have the AI skills that you want. So if you really want to future-proof, then you need to position yourself as product-driven engineer, bridging research and application gaps, right? So we have the LLM building on one side, which is all research. AI researchers do all these things. Then we have the product development on the other hand, where you have like full-stack developers or front-end, back-end developers, and you sit right in the middle where you are able to integrate and talk to all these people and then build an application which can be used in real world by that company, and then they're able to disrupt the industry that they're in. So here's a small blueprint of what you can do, right? So start small, pick up an article or a video that you come across which is interesting to you, go deep into what they're doing and extend it out to your application, and finally deploy it, right? There is no other skill that is going to become valuable next to developing AIMs, which is going to be deploying it. And not only deploying it, how can you make it more efficient? How can you make it more scalable? Like, will it be able to handle all that traffic that the website or the application is going to receive? So these are some of the things that you need to consider. And start small, pick a project, deploy it, and continuously build and improve your AI product portfolio. And you don't need to have hundreds of projects in your portfolio, just a handful of them specific to the industry that you're going after. So if you're going after, let's say, payments industry, you want to work on some of these applications that are specific to payment industry. Or if you're going after accounting or finance or marketing, any of the departments, go deep into one of these applications and then start building them. And this doesn't have to limit you to just using text models, right? You can use image models, you can use audio models, you can use multimodal applications as well. So have a portfolio with a wide array of projects to showcase that you really are passionate about AI engineering.